In today's video, we're going to review 6 different detailing tools under $16. I'll have the links to them in the description box down below. And some of these we've been using for years. Some of these we have like 4 of them just because we do this as a business and we use most of these on a daily basis. First up on the list are these interior scrub pads. Now, these are different formats, but they do the same job and they're priced about the same. On Amazon, where I've seen it, they sell them in packs of 3 for $15, and we use these heavily on the interior. When it comes to anything interior cleaning for plastic and leather surfaces, we're gonna grab these scrub pads. Now, we still use brushes depending on what specific part we're cleaning, but for the larger portions of the interior, for the leather seats, for door panels, for dashboards, for center consoles, for any large plastic piece, we're gonna grab these scrub pads. Now, on one side, you have the actual material that has that bite that actually scrubs. The other side is just like a cloth fabric material. So you only heavily use one side to do the actual scrubbing of the interior. Now, a big question I get is like, how long do they last? And that's hard to say just because it depends on like your usage rate, right? Depending on how dirty you are cleaning. So I can't really say it's gonna last like 10 cars or like within 6 months you're gonna have to replace it. It's more so of like continuing to inspect the fibers and seeing if it still has the fibers are still standing up, if they still have a little bit of like bite to them. Once you actually feel it and you see like how it is new, over time you'll be like, okay, it's not as like strong as it once was. They sell one other one, which is a Mitt version. We also have that as well, but I kid you not, like we heavily use these on a daily basis in all types of interiors that we work on. Next up is tape. Now, tape might seem boring to most people, but if you're doing any kind of paint correction or polishing on your vehicle, depending on the vehicle that you do have, you might want to protect the more sensitive areas from getting polish, or perhaps just because it's a sharp edge. So you could use tape to tape up the plastic molding, the trim, any specific emblems on the side of the vehicle that might catch the foam and cut up the foam pad. There's a lot of use cases for tape, especially when we're doing paint correction and polishing and a ceramic coating on customer vehicles. We're gonna tape up at least like the trim, again depending on the size of the vehicle, but like it depends what size you get and like how the type of tape that you get, but these run between like $8 to like $12. Again, this is from 3M. I think this one here is like $10. We have a variety of different tape just because, again, depending on what we're working on, we need different sizes. But for sure, like if you are gonna do any kind of paint correction, polishing on your vehicle, you need to tape up your vehicle. You need to make sure you're protecting the more sensitive areas from getting polish on it, because one of the more annoying things is when you're trying to detail your vehicle, you're doing some type of correction or polishing on the vehicle, and then you get some compound polish on some trim or plastic, and then like you got to go work backwards and clean that off, when if you would just tape that off in the beginning, you wouldn't have that problem. And for $10, it's gonna run you, it's gonna really help along the way when you're actually polishing your vehicle. Number 3 is gonna be this Analan pet hair remover. Now, we've gone through a few pet hair brushes, and I would say this is one of our more favorite ones. The ergonomics of it is a lot better. The plastic right here that they use, or the rubber that they use, is much more sturdy. A problem that we run into quite often is that when we're doing the pet hair removal on some carpet, some fabric, whatever it is, the rubber here is very weak, and it either comes out of the brush or whatever we're using, or it gets like kind of worn down over time. And this one, it holds up very well. Granted, over time, just by using it, it is gonna get worn down. But as far as the plastic, the rubber getting removed from the actual brush itself, that hasn't happened. Being able to put your fingers through this hole, pause, helps out when you're working on just brushing it. And the plastic itself is very sturdy. So this is definitely one of our favorite ones, and it becomes, I think, like around $16 or $15. We have about like 5 of these in our warehouse because they're that good. And it does have this little hole if you want to, hang it from somewhere. We don't normally do that. We just put it like in a basket or something. And they do come in different colors if you're into that kind of thing. We just have them all in black for the most part. But this is a very high quality pet pet hair remover tool. And there's like a billion options on the market, so I'm pretty sure everyone else will have their own comment of like, no, that's not the best, you know, this is the best, no, that's not the best, this is the best, this is what we use, it works great, and it's only 16 bucks. Next up is this Work Stuff detail brush. Now, Work Stuff makes very high quality tools, like whether it's brushes, whether it's tire dressing applicators, whether it's like clay mitts, whether it's pads. Now this one, they have a variety of different brushes as far as like the type of bristles that it is, and then the size and width of the brushes as well. So you can easily buy a brush from like $8 all the way up to $20 for one brush. This one right here, I believe it's around, if I'm looking at my notes here, it is $12 for something like this, and these are very high quality. These are some of the brushes that we've had for like years literally, and they've been holding up very well. Now depending on the type of brush that you have will kind of dictate where you're going to use it on where you're detailing, right? So you can have specific brushes for the wheels, specific brushes to agitate the emblems and the grille on the exterior of the vehicle. You can have specific brushes for cleaning very soft, gentle, fragile pieces of an interior. So they have a large variety of brushes to kind of make sure you have the right brush for whatever you're cleaning. So I could make a whole different other video on using the Work Stuff brushes and the type of brushes that we use on different parts of the vehicle. But just as a general thing to say is that a $12 brush from Work Stuff will last you a very long time. I've purchased brush sets in the past from like Amazon where they give you like a pack of 5 for like $12, and like within a few weeks or months, like the bristles are falling out, the handle itself is already cracking or breaking, like they just don't hold up very well. With these, I mean, we have put these through the ringer, we use them on a daily basis, we just hammer them, we throw them around, they sit in water for hours on end, and they're still working very well. And next up on the list, which is why I put gloves on, is using this brush. Now you can use this brush to clean tires, to clean wheel wells, but what we specifically use it for is to just dress tires. So typically speaking, when we have a larger tire that we're working on a Jeep Wrangler, on a 4Runner, on a truck or whatever, and we don't want to use like a small little tire applicator pad to actually remove the to apply everything onto the tire surface, we'll use this brush. I believe it's around $6 that I'm looking at here on my notes here, and it works fantastically well. So we still have the traditional tire applicator, but oftentimes even on smaller tires, actually we do grab this brush to just easily apply it onto the surface. All you literally do is take your product, spray it on or goop it on if you have like a gel form, and literally just work it in, and I'm telling you, it works fantastic. And for $6, pretty easy to have in your arsenal. And number 6, last on the list, is gonna be this Work Stuff wheel mitt. Now this is more of a novelty item of like, we don't grab it every single time, but when we do need it, it is good to have. So it's meant to just clean wheels because the mitt is so small. So we dedicate this just to cleaning wheels. Now when we use it, it's typically gonna be either on a larger wheel that has bigger spokes that we can easily get our hands through. Instead of using like a wheel face brush or a smaller brush, we'll just grab a wheel mitt and just easily clean it with our hands. Or if the wheel itself just has, a pretty good clearance between the gaps and we can fit our whole hand and just get the whole spoke, we'll do that as well. So it's like, we're not gonna grab this every single time. It's just the time that we do grab it, it does come in handy. And this is around like $11. So would I say you absolutely need to purchase this for your next wheel cleaning? No, but if you're looking at your wheel and you're like, well, instead of just using a brush on everything, I could just like do one big old swoop, maybe it makes sense. Because another option that you can do is to simply use a microfiber towel to get the same cleaning. It just helps to have like a dedicated wheel mitt that like you can just rinse it off, set it down, and just keep it there until the next time. So once we use it and we're done with it, we just rinse it down with a pressure washer, wring it out, set it in the bucket, let it dry, and it's just there until its next usage. Inside, you can actually have these 3 little pouches to put your fingers in. Sometimes we do that. Typically we just hold it from the outside and kind of scrub. And that's gonna wrap up this video. You have your 6 detailing tools under $16. I'll have the links down in the description box below, and let me know in the comment section, what would you add to this list? It has to be under $16. And realistically, like, I can make a list for under 50, under 100, under 400, under 800, under 1,000. Maybe that'll be a video in the future. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Bye-bye.